All right, but let's get into our question of the week.
So we asked you guys on Facebook, when did you start going to church? Why did you leave? Why did you leave if you did? And do you still hold the values that you've learned, that you loved, learned, keep them?
Okay.
All right. So Andrew, wow, I can't even read today. What is going on?
That's not just.
I think it's the Tito's.
Okay. you threw a couple shots back.
Yeah, I threw a couple of them back. All right. So Andre said, "Stop going when I was kicked out. LOL. Literally got this fellowship.
He got kicked out of church?
Kicked out of church. Yeah.
Why did he get kicked out of church?
I don't know. So we asked, what was the reason, right? And he said, fornication. Fornication was his reason for getting kicked out of church.
Was he fornicating in church or just fornication in general?
I don't know. I don't know what the story is behind it, but he got kicked out of church for fornication. So then Jennifer Brown said, I grew up going to church and I stopped in high school when I moved to Waterbury. I still believe in God, but I do not follow church rules. And so we asked, what made you decide to stop going? She said, I don't know. Just didn't look for a church. So pretty much just.
I think that's how most people live, man. I think that you go to church when you're younger, and then when you're an adult, you just kind of say, this ain't worth it. Kind of.
So Sergio didn't answer the question, but Sergio said, unfortunately, people are flawed and sinful. Sometimes leaders in the church ruin that for people. And what I recommend is that people don't let people represent God in a poor manner. Read the Bible at your own pace. Understand the word for yourself. The Bible says, where two or more are gathered together, in Jesus' name, that is where he is. No building could replace that.
Yo, you know what? He made a good point, man. I've always wondered, when you're a pastor or a priest, it's like, what makes you think you could do that?
Become a pastor or preacher?
Yeah, but it's like, yo, what do you you just you think you're one of God's favorites?
Honestly, sometimes people be having epiphanies, honestly.
Bro, those are just called dreams. The rest of the normal people call them dreams.
You know what's crazy is that, so I grew up in church also, and we'll get into that later, right? But I grew up in church, and some of the people that I did grow up in that did decided to take a step in that direction. People have always said throughout time is that they heard God talking to them, right? And I was like, I must be, something must be wrong with me because I've never heard God talk to me, ever.
He never
right?
even said, what up?
Never said, hey, how you doing?
What's good, A1?
Right? I've had gut feelings about things, I've had, a strong, I guess, conviction on certain things. But, never have I ever heard a voice in my ear and I was like, this is God speaking to me. And I don't know, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just not where I need to be in order for that to happen. But sometimes people feel so really convicted and they're like, okay, this is God telling me that I need to become a pastor.
All right.
I mean, I don't know. So Jerron Stevenson said, born in the church, and yes, I still hold the values and keep them. As you grow, it's your responsibility to know God for yourself. In doing so, you can discern between biblical doctrine and the man-made doctrine / rules, which is made easy to keep them. So then Adawan said, Adawan.
Yes, sir.
Adi,
you just go with the nickname.
Adi said, what if it's something that you were taught? What if something you were taught were wrong? Would you gladly accept it and welcome it into re-education? Or would you combat it because of what you know?
Wait, so you asked, what if something you were taught was wrong?
Yeah.
That's a good question because most people, once you get brought up or just conditioned to think something's right for a majority of your life, when you get hit with a different perspective on it and the reality of what you've been taught might be wrong, people just say, fuck that.
Right.
They just start getting real combative.
Yeah. I mean, because think about it, your entire life has pretty much been a lie, you've been pretty much okay, these are the rules that I'm supposed to follow. This is how things are supposed to go. This is the goal that I'm heading towards. And then that gets overturned. That's like finding out your parents aren't your parents, as an adult. It's what the fuck am I supposed to do now?
Yeah. It's all a fucking lie, man.
Right, you feel
We're
me?
in the Matrix, bro.
You trying to get a blood fusion. You what you mean? My parents can't donate. Why can't they donate?
What you
Because
mean you're
they're
not my
your real
dad?
parents. Dad?
Y'all been lying to me my whole life. Who am I?
Yo, if I found out my parents were my parents, I start calling them by their first name. You're not dad and mama no more.
Right.
You're Gerald.
Marge
and Marge.
What's going on, Tyrone?
What else was Tyrone's a real black name too.
Let's not get into that.
Well, that's one thing that's like, you know, I guess when you become like older and you start to like, I guess, start being able to make decisions for yourself, it's like you really do question things, you know, and a lot of times you realize that like the people that's supposed to have the answers don't fucking have the answers for the shit. And you end up like kind of taking a path that we've taken, you know. So I mean, so what's your story? Like what?
So, what? So what religion were you or are you?
It was